Thank you all for being here today. We have a wonderful program, so I'm going to keep our regular announcements short. I do want to ask you to follow us on social media for the parents in the room. If you want to learn more about these programs, since I'm not going to tell you all about what we've got going on in great detail, go to our website to get the calendar event, or you can grab it on your way out. We're on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I also want to ask you to take your phones out and please turn them onto silent, because we are going to be filming today. For some of the people who could not join us, we want to make sure we have it available on our website and our YouTube channel. And again, I want to thank those of you that called us in advance for book sales. Our guest was gracious enough to sign books this morning, and we have a few extras, so if you want to stop in the store on the way out, or maybe grab him in the next hour or so, we'll be able to do that too. We have a special price today. And then we'll be doing a craft immediately following this, so our staff will come up and direct you as we do that. So we're going to quickly get going here. How many of you have heard of the Football Hall of Fame? Anyone? What about the Softball Hall of Fame? Excellent. Have you heard of the Oklahoma Hall of Fame? Great. What do you think those groups do? Well, just like the first Hall of Fames I mentioned, they recognize athletes. They recognize superior performance, people that have been the best in their field. That's what the Oklahoma Hall of Fame does, and we do it for medicine and science, and we do it for athletes, and we do it for artists. And we want you to have Oklahoma heroes. Just like the gentleman that we have here today. We believe there are no limits to what is possible. Every day in this building and across the state, we celebrate the legacy of inspiring Oklahomans with all generations, just like we have here today, because we know Oklahomans are changing the world. And today, you're going to get to hear from an Oklahoman who's definitely changing the world. How many of you have ever been to like a science fiction movie or looked up at the stars at night and thought, how cool would it be to go in space? Me too. How many of you thought, I know I'm going to get my driver's license someday, but I really want to fly in a spaceship? Me too. The Highway Patrol will not let me do that, but you guys keep dreaming. Dr. Herrington is a native of Oklahoma and a proud member of the unconquered and unconquerable Chickasaw Nation, and he is the world's first Native American astronaut. And Dr. Herrington has degrees in applied mathematics, a master's degree in science and aeronautical engineering, and a PhD, which is why we call him doctor in education. He's a retired Navy pilot where he flew over 4,600 hours and more than 30 different kinds of planes. And as an astronaut, he flew as a mission specialist, logging over 300 hours in space with 3 different spacewalks. Now, my favorite fun fact about our guest is that he believes so much in students just like you that he pedaled over 4,200 miles across our country speaking to students about the importance of motivation and being mentors. He is a wonderful ambassador for our great state, and we are so lucky to have him here today. Please help me give a big Oklahoma welcome to Dr. John Herrington.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi, good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. Thank you so much for being here. This is fun. Who's been to Summer Thursdays here at the Hall of Fame before? A lot of fun. A lot of things to do. So, was that your first time? My first time too. So we're going to have some fun. I really appreciate the offer to be here today. As a matter of fact, my folks are here. My mom and dad are right over there. So I'm going to tell a story about my mom and dad. But real quickly, I want to tell you the story about how I ended up to be sitting in this seat talking to you. Real quickly, then I'll read the book, and if we have some time, I'll answer any questions. I think we're going to do crafts afterwards, so let's have some fun. I was born in Wetumpka, Oklahoma. You know where Wetumpka, Oklahoma is? It's about an hour to the east here, out towards Tulsa. And I was born in Wetumpka, Oklahoma, but we lived where? We lived in Tulsa at the time, and then we moved to Norman. And then we moved to Colorado, and then I moved to Wyoming, and then I moved to Texas, and moved back to Colorado. I moved about 14 times by the time I graduated from high school. So I moved a lot. I moved a whole heck of a lot. And my dad said it built character, right? And by the time I graduated high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I had to go to college. My parents said, you need to go to college, get a college education. But they left it up to me to figure out what that was. And so when I went to college, I thought I'd be a forestry. I liked working outside. I didn't want to work behind a desk. And so I started in college, but I also learned how to rock climb the same year. And I liked being outside so much. I didn't like being in a classroom. I didn't study. And when you don't study, what happens? You don't do very well in class, right? Well, I didn't pass a few tests. I didn't do very well. I got kicked out of school when I was a freshman in college because I wasn't intelligent. I didn't think I was motivated. I didn't have a real desire to be in school. I hadn't figured it out yet. Okay, so I took my rock climbing experience into the mountains. I used to hang off the cliffs as a rock climber with a group of folks that were building a highway. And my job was to hold a piece of glass against the rock while these folks on the ground shot an infrared beam of light to this prism I held. So this piece of glass, this light would hit the glass and bounce back. And since light goes at a certain speed, they determined how far it was. And I actually learned mathematics hanging off the side of a cliff in the mountains of Colorado. And the guy I worked for told me to go back to school. If I wanted to make something of myself, I had to go back to school and get a college education. So I did. I got a college education in applied mathematics. But when I was a senior in college, I worked for a guy who was a retired captain in the Navy. He used to fly fighters in World War II, and he convinced me to join the Navy. So there were people that came along in my life and encouraged me to, my parents to go to school, and folks encouraged me to go back to school, and then folks encouraged me in my education and going to my career. So I flew in the Navy for 22 years. Who's 8 years old here? Who's 8? 8, okay. When I was 8 years old, I used to sit in a cardboard box and dream I was going to the moon, because that's what we were doing in the 1960s. And I thought, I played astronaut, but I never thought I could do it until I was in the Navy, and I realized as a test pilot school, that a lot of the people I admired growing up, matter of fact, Bill, you had a picture? You have the picture? I'll show you something really quick. It's a good friend of mine, Bill Moore. Bill brought me a picture today of a couple gentlemen that I was at an event. The gentleman here on the left side of the picture is General Tom Stafford. General Tom Stafford flew on Gemini and Apollo missions, Apollo Soyuz. This gentleman right here is named Alexei Leonov. Alexei Leonov was the very first human to walk in space. And I was at an event out in Weatherford, Oklahoma, and I know General Leonov, got to meet Alexei. And these were my heroes growing up. These were the people I watched when I was your age, thinking, and he'd been to test pilot school, and I realized if he could do it, people would do it, I'll find out. And so I applied to be a test pilot, and test pilot school, and then I applied to be an astronaut, and I got selected in 1996, and I flew in the space shuttle back in 2002, went to the space station. So, thanks, Bill. Let me get to the book. Does that sound like fun? Hey, all right. I see a lot of Chickasaw youth group. Who else from the Chickasaw Nation? Out of here. Yay! Thank you, thanks to everybody for being here. The book, A Mission to Space, well, it tells a story about what the motivations were to become an astronaut. And I tell a lot of stories in this about the things I did growing up that had to do with flying airplanes and playing with rockets. And then once I got to NASA training and trained to fly in space. So this is a fun book. Matter of fact, the very front picture right here, which is also on the cover, is my very first spacewalk. I'm getting ready to walk out, and my feet are dangling out the door. It's about 220 miles straight down. And I remember looking between my feet, trying to see the Earth, and realizing that's a long way down. And you hang on kind of tight for a little bit, but you realize the tighter you hang on, the more tired you get, and you don't have to. You can hang on with the thumb and the forefinger. Don't squeeze it, otherwise you get really tired. So that's my very first spacewalk, and my friend Don Pettit took my picture through a little teeny porthole on the side of the airlock. So we start off, I dedicate this book to my dad, that gentleman right over there with the airplane shirt on, for making the world of flight possible for a young, adventurous boy. My father gave me my first flying lesson when I was about 10, thereabouts. He was an instructor pilot. He taught people how to fly planes. We used to fly back to Oklahoma from Colorado to Wetumpka and see my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, and everybody. But that little kid, the big smile is me, and that's my dad on the other side. When I was a little boy, I liked to shoot rockets with my dad and my older brother. So this is my dad in the middle. That's my older brother. And that's me. And right between my dad and I, there's a rocket. And on that rocket, there's a little teeny thing called a payload. It's a little opening at the top of the rocket. And this is in Colorado. And that grass, there's little teeny black beetles. I used to open up the top of the rocket, and I'd grab a beetle, and I'd put it in the rocket. And I'd put the lid back on the rocket, the cone, and then whoosh, we'd shoot the rocket off. And then when it come back, I'd open up, and the little beetle would kind of wobble around and kill it. It was fun. But yeah, this was in Colorado, and we used to shoot rockets. It was a lot of fun. We'd build little Estes rockets. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off of the shuttle Endeavour. So this is lifting off of the space shuttle at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida back in 2002. I'm Commander John B. Herrington, and I am Chickasaw. Who's Chickasaw? Who's Chickasaw? All right. I'm very proud of being Chickasaw. I'm very proud of my heritage. Flying in space takes a lot of training. I'm wearing a suit right here that weighs about 300 pounds. Okay? And this is in what's called a vacuum chamber, and they practice taking all the air. You put the suit on, you put the helmet on, and they take away all the air out of this chamber. So there's no air whatsoever. And you get to realize the suit actually works. The suit keeps you alive. It is your little spacecraft in space. It weighs 300 pounds on the ground. It weighs nothing in space. So that 300 pounds weighs nothing, and you can move around a lot easier in space than you can on the Earth. I trained in a virtual reality laboratory. You ever seen those commercials where the people wear the goggles? Yeah. And you can see a computer image of what you're seeing, you can reach out and grab stuff? That's what I'm doing right here, because they train and walk in space. They have this virtual reality lab. You put the visor on, and you can see a computer image of the space station. And so they would take us to the very end of the space station in a computer simulation, and they would kick us off. They'd kick us off the space station tumbling. And our job was to actually deploy a little teeny controller, little teeny hand controller, turn it on, and we'd fly ourselves back to space station. So that's what we did. If you get the book, you'll see I have a big bump on my cheek. Looks like somebody hit me in the side of the face right here. Well, that's an atomic fireball. You know those candies? Those hot candies? When you go to this laboratory, the guy that ran the laboratory had a big jar of candy. So every time I go in to do this virtual reality laboratory, I grab an atomic fireball and stick it in my mouth, and so that's why I have a big bump on the side of my cheek. I trained in a pool called the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, and we trained if the space shuttle can't make it back to the Kennedy Space Center, it has to land someplace else. You may have to jump out of it, and we practiced jumping out and landing, getting into our raft and floating in the water. So we learned survival while we're down there as well. So in most of these pictures, I have a big smile on my face because this is a lot of fun. I'm sorry. It takes a lot of hard work to do something well, right? You want to do something really well, you practice, practice, practice. They make us practice a lot to train. Soon I was ready to fly to the International Space Station with my fellow astronauts. So the commander of the space station, my fellow astronauts are getting into a big van, big Airstream van. We call it the Astro van. That's what you would ride out to the launch pad. While we waited in the shuttle, there was a very important celebration happening in the Rocket Garden at the Kennedy Space Center. This is Governor Bill Anatubby. This is Lieutenant Governor Jefferson Keel from the Chickasaw Nation. They presented NASA seal, the great Chickasaw Nation. And the governor and a bunch of folks from the tribe came down to my launch. About 200 folks came down to the Kennedy Space Center for launch. They had a big celebration. My folks were there. Got to dance, right? My folks got to dance. And I didn't get to do that because I was on the launch pad ready to fly. You betcha. People came from miles away to sing and dance and celebrate. So here, Chickasaw stomp dancers were down doing a stomp dance at Kennedy Space Center. A lot of folks have never seen a stomp dance before. And so they came down, had a great celebration. Unfortunately, that night, there was a problem with the space shuttle, and we couldn't fly. And so all my friends had to go home and come back to Oklahoma. I didn't fly for about 3 weeks, but my folks hung out there for about 3 weeks. And my sister actually was not there because she was going to have a baby. And my sister had a baby when I was in space. That's pretty neat. Rockets ignite with a great shudder, and we blast off into orbit around the Earth. Do you think the space shuttle goes straight up and stops?
No.
What's the space shuttle do? Yes, sir.
I think it goes up and orbits the Earth.
Okay, it goes up and goes around the Earth. If the space shuttle went straight up and the engines quit, what would happen to the space shuttle? Fall straight back down, right? So what we do in the space shuttle is you get up and you get going around the Earth really fast. So as gravity pulls you back to Earth, the Earth's round. It falls away. So you can just constant free fall around the Earth. Been on a trampoline? Jump on trampolines? Imagine the trampoline not being there when you're falling back to the Earth. Well, somebody yanks it away and you fall beside the Earth. That's what you do in the space shuttle. You know, it's constant free fall around the Earth. The International Space Station will be our home for the next 2 weeks. We installed a big piece on the side of the space station right out here doing 3 spacewalks. That's what the space station looked like after I'd been there for about 2 weeks. Look, my eagle feather and flute float in space. The eagle feather was given to me by a gentleman whose grandfather was a survivor of the Battle of the Little Bighorn. And the flute was made by a Cherokee friend of mine who's an engineer, and he uses math to determine where each of the holes goes on that flute. And those items are now in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. Astronaut Don Pettit helps me with my EMU, my Extravehicular Mobility Unit. NASA uses really big words. What it means is it goes outside. It's a suit I wear to go outside. Once again, it weighs 300 pounds, weighs nothing in space, and Don's helped me put my gloves on. Now is the time to spacewalk. Am I upside down or am I right side up? I could be right side up, it could be upside down. In space, gravity doesn't tell you which way's down. What you see is, what's right side up is what you see, it's not what you feel. So I'm actually, relative to the space station, I'm this way in that picture. Space station's going through orbit this way, and I'm actually on top of the space station, but I could be upside down, I could be right side up. I felt like I was right side up in that picture. So one of the neat things about being in space was when you're doing a spacewalk, you can be under, I was underneath the space station like this, and instantaneously I was looking down. 1 second I was looking up, and the next second I was looking down because my mind couldn't figure out which way was down. So it thought what I was looking at was right side up, and it's like, woo, that's neat, a lot of fun. We are 220 miles above Earth. Our helmets, suits, and gloves protect us from the extreme heat and cold. Okay, it takes 90 minutes to go around the Earth. The space shuttle goes 17,500 miles an hour. That's about 5 miles every second. That's about, it's going to take you 2 seconds to get to Tinker. You go really, really fast. And when the sun's up, for 45 minutes of that orbit, you're in the sunlight. So when the sun is hitting you, it's about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So when the sun goes down, it's minus 200 degrees. There's a 400 degree temperature swing from day to night flying on the space station. An astronaut's helmet has a special visor. It protects our eyes from the bright light of the sun. And that's a gold visor I have on my helmet. Am I right side up or am I upside down in that picture?
Right side down.
I'm actually that way. Okay? Because the space station, this is the hatch you go into, but when you come out, you feel like you're that way. You're actually this way because the Earth is below me. These are white clouds, and there's a little teeny blue horizon in the corner. So relative to the space station, I'm upside down. But when you come out, you feel right side up, just like that. Pretty neat. Mission accomplished. We have successfully landed back on Earth. I was in space for about 2 weeks. We came back to Kennedy Space Center, and when I landed, I couldn't stand up. I was nauseous. I was throwing up. I did not like being back on the Earth. My inner ear, the little thing inside your ear that tells you it helps your stability, it was telling me, I don't like being back on Earth. And so for about a week, I would bump into chairs. I would take my hat off, or I'd take my hat off and throw it on the table, and I'd miss it. It would fall right to the ground. I would turn corners and bump into the wall. And I'd lay in bed at night, and that was the floor. You lay in bed and I go, that's the floor, because in space I could push off from my bed and go to the ceiling, and I could make that the floor. So it was a lot of fun. I flew back in 2002, mission after mine. Unfortunately, had a problem, and I lost 7 friends on that mission. I left NASA in 2005. I worked for a company here in Oklahoma, and ended up riding a bicycle across the country. because I want to talk to kids about math and science and what journey it was for me to become an astronaut. And along the way, I met a wonderful woman who is now my wife. Where'd Margo go? Is she around there? Margo's back here. And I moved from Oklahoma to Idaho, and I went back to school because a good friend of mine convinced me if I want to get a college degree again, to go back to school. And so my passion now is in education, is working with students on what the thing is that motivates them to want to study math and science. It's the idea of working with your hands, hands-on learning, and that's what I'm doing now. One of the nice things about the book, this was printed by the Chickasaw Press. Chickasaw Nation printed this book, and we included Chickasaw vocabulary. Chickasaw language is a part of this. So there's no word for astronaut in the Chickasaw language. So they had folks came together and said, what would be the proper way to describe an astronaut? Well, an astronaut would be somebody that walks above. And so my name would be Chickasaw Abanoa, Chickasaw above walker. So if you want to learn different Chickasaw words, the English word, so astronaut, Chickasaw Abanoa, tells you how to pronounce it, and it tells you what it means right here. So this was a lot of fun to write this book. Like I say, the work I do now is I work with students, and primarily Native American students, to figure out what motivates them to want to go to school and to love to study and to enjoy something. Because when you grow up, folks in this room right now are about the right age. Because if we plan to go to Mars in the year 2030 to 2035, somebody in here is going to have gone to college and is going to have the right education and wants to become an astronaut and may be on that mission flying to Mars, and I get to watch you on TV. And then I can listen to you read a book at some point in time. So that's my book. I'd be happy to answer any questions. You want to do that?
Thank you. Any questions? Does anybody have a question for Dr. Herrington?
Can you walk in space? You call people in space. I did not. I had a computer where I could actually have a video teleconference with my kids. If there's actually a phone on the space station right now, and I was driving through Phoenix one day, and my phone rang, and I went, that's weird, that's a Houston phone number. Hello. It was the guy that I flew in space with, was on the space station going, hey John, how are you? I'm on the space station. You can actually call back and talk to your family. So, yes sir. I don't, not out of the street. Where do they get the books?
You can get, for those of you that just arrived, we have, for those of you that called in advance, Dr. Herrington did sign books. You can also buy them downstairs in the bookstore. We've got a special price today, and he's autographed a few extra, and he'll be here for about another 45 minutes or so. So you might, if you haven't already made that arrangement, we can do that for you.
Yeah, I can't answer everybody's question today. I'll be walking around. If you have a question, please ask me. Let's get a couple more. Young lady. Did I really see the what? Did I really see the Endeavour? Yeah, I got to sit in the Endeavour. I worked in the Endeavour. The Endeavour, the space shuttle I flew on, was called the Endeavour. And it's named after a sailing ship that an English guy sailed across the ocean in the Pacific way back in the 1700s. My spaceship was named after his sailing ship, and it's now in a museum, and I love museums, in California. Let me do one more. Young lady right here. Why did I what? Why did I retire? That's a good question. Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I was working. I was training to fly on a space station. I was going to command 2 Russians. I was going to be the commander on Expedition 14. Unfortunately, I have an issue with my back, and they said if I flew on the Russian spacecraft, there's a chance I would break my back coming home. And so I thought, well, I'd like to walk. That's a good thing. I didn't want to break my back. I would love to have flown in space for 6 months. A lot of my friends have. Just working in space and living in space. But unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity. I was offered a job here in Oklahoma as a test pilot. I love to fly. I still fly. And so I made a really tough decision to leave and come back to Oklahoma and work for a neat company here. That company didn't work out, unfortunately, so I went on. I went a bike across the country. I worked for the Chickasaw Nation as well. I worked for Governor Endeavour, and I went back to school. So I would like to have stayed if I had the opportunity to fly in space for 6 months. But we weren't flying the shuttle because I lost 7 friends in the mission after mine, and I didn't know if they'd ever fly the shuttle again. So, yeah, you know, make decisions. And so it goes. Yes. Well, Margo. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. You got to speak up really loud.
Hello, my name is Amelia. Did
Hi, Amelia. Did I get close to the moon? No, the moon is about 240,000 miles away, and I was in orbit around the Earth about 220 miles above the Earth. So if imagine the Earth is about a 16-inch diameter beach ball, about like that. I am no higher than the width of my finger off of that 16-inch globe. So you can see it, it's there, but it's still 240,000 miles away. So that was a lot of fun. Okay? Good.